When did you start actually actively in music?
From the time I was 5 years old.
So that's...
Yeah, I mean, I was obsessed. The other kids were outside playing baseball, and I was inside playing my Beatles records.
And playing your own instrument, when did that?
I started plucking around on a guitar part. I was like 12 years old. I've been playing with my thumb, and but I always pretended that I was playing the music that I was listening to, and I remember like alternating. I would broadcast these pretend concerts from my bedroom, and it would be the Beatles and the Stones are playing at a huge stadium, and they would each trade sets, and I'd play the songs that would be in the Stones set, and then I'd have intermission music. So one of my dad's old-fashioned music, like a movie soundtrack or something, that'd be the intermission music. Play that, and then play the Stones songs that would be in the Stones set. Then go back to the Beatles, like I was doing some kind of a world broadcast thing.
What is for you of course it's hard to say, but favorite Beatles and Stones tracks?
Well, yeah, really, really hard to say, you know, I mean, obviously. But of late, I know, to get in shape for the singing for this tour, about 3 or 4 months ago, I started just loading records into my truck, into the CD player, and records that I enjoy singing with. Because if you don't tour for a while, and then you go into tour rehearsal where you're singing a lot, and then go out on tour, the previous 6 months where you weren't singing a lot, if I was working in the studio, or 8, 9 months, whatever it is, and then you go sing a lot and you lose your voice really quickly. So the last 3 months, I intentionally got my vocal cords into shape for the tour. And although early show today is what is really hard, I basically sleep about 3 hours, 4 hours a night on tour, and then an early show like this, literally wake up and sing. And it's you know, I'm a night guy. I'm probably prime ready to sing at 4 o'clock this morning. But we had to play at what, 5 in the afternoon or something. But anyway, what was the question?
What songs did you listen to? Beatles and Stones, favorite songs, I think.
Well, yeah, recently I just, Let It Be, the raw version of Let It
Naked,
Be.
yeah.
Yeah, Naked, yeah. And I think if I had to pick a Stones record, it would be Out of Our Heads or Some Girls, maybe Tattoo You. Cause I love Keith's stuff on both of those records.
So it's more the later stuff of their primes.
Oh, the really early, like Aftermath,
okay.
Out of Our Heads, and then jump to Some Girls. Yeah. The Sympathy for the Devil era in the early 70s, my head was in a different realm in that era. I started going into, you know, listen to jazz fusion and prog, you know, really heavily. And so I lost contact with the Rolling Stones a little bit there in the early 70s, because I went for more of a stodgy, I guess, kind of a style of music. And I'm glad I did. You know, I saw a different side of it, you know, the tightrope that you walk, you know, and say Keith Richards is on one side and maybe Peter Gabriel's on the other. You know, those two styles of rock. You have a very intellectual side and a very sexual side, I guess. And so I like both, you know, and mixing the two together is, I guess, what I try to do. And I like bands that try to do that too. You can be blues rooted, but still have a literary content to it.
Do you have an example?
Led Zeppelin. Not that Robert Plant was literary in the Led Zeppelin period, but let's say esoteric, you know? An esoteric side to it, to the lyrics, where it runs deep, and the music complements it, and vice versa. And there was when we were kids, Led Zeppelin was very scary sounding. You know, they sounded, yeah.
Even more than Black Sabbath?
Oh yeah, well, see, it depends. Here, with Black Sabbath, I was really privy to witness a lot of this. I saw Black Sabbath in 1970, and a friend of mine had won a couple of tickets on the radio, kid next door, and I was 12 years old, and I think Paranoid had just come out, and they opened with War Pigs, and it was really scary for a 12-year-old. The lighting was really dark. The English bands had the longest hair and the biggest beards, like Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull, and the kind of hippies that had been hippies for a while. And so I was an Anglophile when I was a little boy. And yeah, the English bands were very scary. But then there was another side, like Humble Pie, same era. 71, Rockin' the Fillmore, Stevie Marriott, you know, and that body, Cockney, vaudeville side of hard rock that was wonderful. Bands like that would come through town all the time in the 70s. It would be Humble Pie and Foghat, or Humble Pie and the Edgar Winter Band, or Rush and Blue Oyster Cult and Humble Pie, or Fleetwood Mac with Peter Green and Rush and Humble Pie, or, you know what I mean, just like these combinations of Anglo hard rock and mixed with glam that started to sneak in, like Slade was happening, and so it was really interesting, and the concerts were very amusing for a little kid to watch, and very much like Almost Famous, the movie, you know, Cameron Crowe's movie, right? Almost Famous, the little boy who's like backstage at all the shows. That was me too. I snuck in all the time and got backstage at a very young age, just know how to be a fly on the wall, and watched it go down a lot, and I had a great time doing it. I ended up at Baha'i meetings with Seals and Crofts a few times, you know, like they were Baha'i faith, and you know, they were like 13 years old, 14, going to like in a car with Seals and Crofts, you know, like heading somewhere. I'd be like just laughing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm lucky, you know.